day 6 of my Uganda safari and I'm in the Queen Elizabeth National Park. It is shaping up beautifully. There is a lion behind me and it doesn't get any better than this. It really is a slice of wild Africa where wildlife and humans coexist on a daily basis. You've got elephants walking into villages, you've got fishermen going out and fishing amongst hippos. Really very, very special. So much to see and so much wildlife right there.
Lions are one of the biggest attractions in Queen Elizabeth National Park. Uganda is home to 400 lions and about 130 lions can be found in this park.
There are 3 African lions right below me. It's like the movie Beast, where Idris Elba won't get out of the vehicle, and I'm also terrified, and trust me, I won't be getting out of this vehicle because these guys could tear me apart. It's just like the movies I make, but this is real life. These are real lions, and this is what we make the movies about. I think she's starting to stir, so I'm gonna pull my head in.
The lion is listed as vulnerable on the International Union for Conservation of Nature Red List and has been since 1996 because populations in African countries have declined by about 43% since the early 1990s. Suddenly the lions were on the move and preparing to hunt. They were stalking 2 buffalo right in front of me, and I thought I might just have a front row seat as an attempted kill. The one golden rule on safari is to be quiet and patient. But unfortunately there was a great deal of noise. My safari guide was constantly on the phone telling other tour operators that cars were getting stuck in the mud in the area where the lions were located due to heavy rains earlier that morning. A lot of vehicles were wheel spinning and turning engines on and off constantly, which was very distracting for the lions. It was chaos, and certainly not optimal conditions for the lions to make a kill. There were far too many distractions, with human presence alerting the buffalo to potential foreign dangers. It was a really good example of how human activities with increasing amounts of safari traffic can really directly affect the animals. Engines were revving, wheels were spinning in the mud, and at one point, a safari vehicle even went off track right into the path of the hunting lions.
So we're waiting to move to get past the lions, but there's a lot of mud and we've been sliding further into it as we've been stationary. And now there's a bit of a backlog behind me, as you'll see. A traffic jam in the Queen Elizabeth Park. Who'd have thought?
Fortunately for the lions, they were able to feast on a previous kill, making sure they picked all the meat off the carcass and stripping it bare. On safari, you are surrounded by life and death, a constant reminder of the daily struggle for survival. Sometimes the clash of human activity and wildlife has deadly consequences, and the greatest threat to these lions is the community that lives close to the park. Recently, a number of lions were found dead as a result of poisoning, and it is suspected that the lions were poisoned by farmers who had lost their domestic cattle to the lions. As a result, some individuals within the community have resorted to setting up traps and snares and poisoning the big cats. The park does compensate locals whenever they lose livestock to the lions and arranges for community sensitization meetings, emphasizing the importance of the lions to the people and the prosperity of the community. The Uganda Carnivore Project introduced the lion tracking experience within Queen Elizabeth National Park to help raise funds for lion conservation. Lions and other park animals frequently wander outside park boundaries, eventually coming into contact with human communities. The Uganda Wildlife Authority has tried hard to ensure that there is a harmonious relationship between communities living near the park and the park animals. It strives to ensure that communities benefit economically through tourism, through direct employment, and giving back 20% of the money from tourism to the community.
Just meters from the road is this beautiful bull elephant that is literally meters away. That can only be 5 meters, and it's incredible to be able to get this close to African wildlife. This place is insane. I'm absolutely loving it. Uganda is so unique in that respect, and wow, he's right there.
Queen Elizabeth National Park covers 1,978 square kilometres and is the second biggest national park in Uganda. Boasting more than 600 species, it has the greatest biodiversity of any protected area in Uganda. Not only is it the home of the endangered leopard, but the park is also rich in bird life, featuring the dulcet tones of the yellow-throated longclaw, the regal headdress of the long-crested eagle, the majesty of the African fish eagle, and the curious hammerkop, which is the smallest African stork. These birds are famous for the strong 3-tiered nests up to 6 foot high and 6 foot wide, as seen here placed in a tree fork. Such a structure can take 3 to 4 months to build.
We were just driving through the village and suddenly there's a hippo on the side of the road munching on the bushes. You never know what you're going to see here, but this is really quite special, how humans and wildlife coexist. And it must be very difficult at times, but there are villages here, there's shops, there's communities, and yet you've got a hippo wandering through it. Very strange, but brilliant at the same time.
One of the key challenges to conservation in and around the Queen Elizabeth protected area is human-wildlife conflict. Approximately 56% of households in communities adjacent to this area spend time guarding their gardens from crop damage by elephants and other animals. There was an incident as recently as July 2023 where a man carrying matuk on a motorcycle through the park to Kasenyi fishing landing narrowly escaped being eaten by lions. I've witnessed and documented firsthand how this could happen so easily where motorbikes carrying merchandise venture right through lion country. As the Uganda Wildlife Authority takes steps to address human-wildlife conflict in Queen Elizabeth National Park, it remains vital to foster collaboration and understanding between conservation efforts and local communities to ensure the preservation of this precious ecosystem.